How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the two trades I took on NQ. I took two losses today. My rules are if I have two losses in a day, call it there. Luckily, both were about 15 points, so it was a $360 losing day. Kind of a bummer to see us reset back down after being up over a K or over 1100 in profit. Now we're back down to about 760. But it's to be expected. We're going to have some losing days. Before I get into those trades, I want to ask you to like this video and subscribe. It does help my channel a lot, and I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please do that. It takes 1 second, and it helps me out. But enough with that. Let's get into the trades. Let's get into what I was watching on the day and see where I went wrong. So I'll just pull up the 5 minute. These blue levels are all from the 8-hour time frame. I look at the volume profile of 8-hour candles to get these levels. You can see how price respects them pretty well. And then we have yesterday's high a day here at like 8:38. So we opened the day above yesterday's high a day, everything kind of indicating some bullish momentum. We held this level, moved right up to the next level off of open, came right back down, tested yesterday's high a day once, twice, came up, kind of held in between these two levels here, and then we got a breakout, came up, retested this level again, pulled back, and then made our move higher. I actually wanted to grab a call after this 5-minute candle. I wanted to grab a call here, or a call. Still used to options, I suppose, but I wanted to go long here, and I'll show you the reason in a second. But the thing that stopped me is, had I waited for this candle to close, which, you know, one of my rules is to wait for confirmation via a 5-minute candle close, and had I waited for this 5-minute candle to close and enter here, a logical stop would be below that wick. But that would have been like 40 points, which is much more risk than I'm comfortable taking on a single trade. 30 would be the most that I would want, but that ends up being about a 1-to-1 risk to reward trade. I'm not opposed to those occasionally if I think the setup is good. But in general, I want to aim a little bit more towards a 2-to-1, so I have like about a 15-point stop. So this really just, I didn't take this long position here because the risk that it required me to kind of carry. But nonetheless, that would have worked out as we went straight up for about 200 points or so. So I'll show you why I wanted to take that trade real quick. I didn't take it, so I'm not going to go over it super long, but just to show kind of what I was looking at. So this is the volume profile of these 5-minute candles. Basically, this is just showing these yellow lines are where the most volume happened at what price within that candle. You can see that we have these two levels here that once we break above, we would expect these levels to act as support. We came down, we tested kind of almost both of them, but pushed way up and closed pretty bullish, or not bullish, but we had a much longer lower wick. In fact, the lower wick was longer than the candle body itself. And then we closed slightly above where the highest amount of volume occurred, indicating that if that was all selling volume, we probably would have closed lower, right? But we didn't. Another thing is, if we pull up the 1-minute chart, and this is on taking 1 second to zoom out here. But if we pull up the 1-minute chart and just look at, and I don't know why this level isn't pulling up here. There we go. We pull up that 1-minute chart, you can see we form this hammer on the 1 minute with insane volume, really, really high volume. And then following, we kind of retested this level. So it was acting as resistance in the pre-market and right before we got that breakout. So this little retest on the 1 minute would have been a good entry. Hindsight's 2020. So didn't take this. Like I said, had I waited for that candle to close, I would have entered on the following candle, which would have been here. Stop loss below this low. That's about 40 points of risk. So didn't feel comfortable taking that. And then let's go on to the trade that I did take. So then we made this big run up. I think I felt a little bit of FOMO, felt like I missed that trade, and this caused me to take these trades. I probably shouldn't have. I don't hate the setup. I think it was just kind of the time of day. And what I mean by that is you can see that the volume's really low up here. And whenever that volume's really low, you're going to get kind of some choppy price action. You're not going to get nice moves. So I think that was my biggest issue on these two trades. I think the trade themselves, or like the idea, was fine, and I'm not so mad about that because I did follow my rules pretty well for both of these. So we are looking at, this is the 5-minute volume profile of this price action up in here. What did we have? We had a nice breakout on increasing volume. We came down, we held this level, formed a hammer. I got that 5-minute confirmation via that 5-minute candle close, right? We formed a hammer, we held that level of support. We're bullish on the day. We're bullish here. I drew this line, it's a little off, but it looked like we were forming a little bit of a bull flag, right? Holding support. So I entered on the following candle. After this candle closed, I entered a long position. However, the very next candle, we kind of tested this resistance and pulled back and stopped me out for a small loss. At this point, I was kind of kicking myself. I was watching the 1 minute here, and if we zoom in on this, you can see I did not get a good entry on this. I pretty much entered it at the worst possible spot. And I was watching, and we kind of came up, hit this level, couldn't close higher, came up, hit this level, couldn't really close higher. And then I was also noticing like the volume on the selling, right? The selling candles are kind of higher volume than the buying candles. And then just the speed, or like the velocity of which the selling versus buying was happening, right? It would take us, you know, a couple minutes to work our way up, and then 1 minute just to drop. A couple minutes to work our way up, 2 minutes to drop. 3 minutes to work our way up, 1 minute to drop. So that stopped me out. And then I waited, and I re-entered the position. So I took another long right in here. And the reason being is this. So we kind of were still holding this level support. We came down, tested it, formed a hammer once, came down and swept these lows. So we had these two lows here. We swept those lows and then closed higher. So you can see we came down, swept those lows. We had good volume on a hammer holding that level of support, and then closed higher. And I entered on the retest of that level again. I entered here, and that allowed me to have a decent risk to reward, right? I didn't even need price to break the high a day. I just needed it to get back up near it to take my first profit. So I like my risk to reward. I like the fact that we were still holding this level. We were forming hammers. Also the volume profile, you can see here, we had a lot of buying. If you look at the buying pressure right around this like 2 or 22 level. And you can see that volume, high volume node was right here. Price obviously pushed up higher. So everything was looking pretty good. And then just the falling candle just dumped and stopped me out pretty much immediately. So didn't work out, but that was it for me on the day. I decided to take the rest of the day off. I'll come back tomorrow, try to trade a little bit better. So yeah, what went wrong? I don't think the trades themselves were bad in terms of like the setup, but if I could say the two things that I realized that didn't go right were the time of day and the volume being so low, right? And we were kind of just chopping around sideways. That is probably a good indication to stay away. And then additionally, the fact that we already had this massive move up with not really much of a pullback. Aside from right here, this move from like 910 to 2250, 150 points or so, 160 points with pretty much no pullback. To only pull back like 30 points or so, most likely we're not just going to bounce and keep ripping. Not to say it can't happen, but I don't think it was likely. So volume being low, time of day, not, we're an hour and a half past the open. It's when things kind of usually start to slow down. So I think I could have avoided those. But the setup itself didn't look terrible. Like if this was a setup during the earlier part of the day, and it looked like we were moving higher, forming a bull flag, holding support. I don't hate that I took those trades. They just don't always work out. So it is a bit of a bummer. We've erased the gains that we made this week slightly, but also I should mention I sized up a little bit just by one contract. So I've been trading 5 contracts. I'm going to trade 6 from here on out, and that just allows me to ensure that if it hits my first take profit, that's a $300 because that's 5 contracts at 30 points. $60 per contract, $60 times 5 contracts is $300. That just assures that even if my runner gets stopped out at break even, I have $300 wins. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, is like $300 to $400 wins. And then, so yeah, unfortunately the 2 losses came on the day that I sized up slightly. So a little bit bigger loss, but one win will more than cover that. And that's why we use risk to reward. So even though I didn't have a great day, if I have 1 win tomorrow, we'll be back in profit. So that's all I got. I appreciate it. Price is kind of going bonkers right now. We have some pretty crazy volatility going on. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I think Trump might be speaking or something, but I'm going to use this afternoon and evening to kind of identify some stuff. I've been watching 1 hour price action and volume nodes, and I think I might play around and see what I can do there in terms of identifying some strategy. Not that I'm gonna change anything up, but just seeing if I can use it to my advantage. That's all I got. Thank you. I do trade live Monday through Friday, so if you want to stop by the stream, feel free. I'd love to have you. Other than that, hope you have a great day. Peace.